Lately I've been reviewing a lot of controllers for the channel, and I've been getting some requests to check out the PowerA GameCube styled Switch controller. Now I recently checked out the Hori controller, and I must say this one has some differences in both good and bad ways. So I'm going to jump into that a little bit and talk about what I like, what I don't like, so let's jump in. Now you can see the PowerA GameCube controller in all of its glory up close, and I must say I really like this controller. The stick feels great, buttons feel awesome, the clicks are fine, but the thing that I love most about this controller is the classic R and L triggers. There's honestly no reason to have this, but I think they did it for like nostalgia's sake, for like comfortability, because I must say clicking them down feels fantastic. And guys, I'll just be honest, I love the triggers on the GameCube controller. Like, I honestly think they're better than the latest consoles like PS4 and Xbox One. Like, if I had to choose any triggers, it would be the GameCube controller triggers. Like, I absolutely love them. Now, one thing that is a bit odd is that the R and L buttons stick out much higher than the original GameCube controller. As I'm sure you know, there used to be a Z button right here on the GameCube controller and nothing over here, and it was much smaller. So it was kind of weird for them to make them extra big. I think they're a bit too big, honestly, only because if you're clicking this down and you immediately go to that button, you're coming up really far after you click it just to click that button. And you have to do that a lot, obviously, as you know, in Smash Brothers, because you'll be dodging, rolling, and then you'll try and grab someone and use this. And it just doesn't really work out that great, because you can feel it on your way up. Like, you kind of run into the button on your way up. So that's probably my biggest gripe. I think these buttons are just a little too big. And other than that, when it comes to like complaints, I would say that it feels a little fragile. I don't know if that's the truth, but it definitely feels a bit more fragile than my light bulb just went out. Sorry about that. It definitely feels a little bit more fragile than the Hori controller, which I love that one as well, but that one doesn't have the triggers. So I recommend this controller. As you can see, this is the wired one. It comes with a detachable wire, which I love about PowerA products. Like, it's such an underrated feature with controllers. Like, I absolutely love that it comes with these long wires and you can plug them into any of your controllers. And if you have a bunch of PowerA controllers, then you can just swap them in and out with the wires. You don't have to carry around a controller, as you can see this one, with the messed up wire. Like, honestly, this is so much more convenient. But honestly, this one has some stuff that this one doesn't. You get the turbo button, and that's honestly not that big a deal to me. But this one actually has grips on the handles, whereas this one is classic smooth like the original GameCube controller. So I'm not sure which one you would like more, because a lot of people, when they go for a GameCube controller, they go for the nostalgia factor, not necessarily for wanting like the best controller out there. And I must say, this one feels a little less fragile, and the stick like feels a bit better in my opinion. And as you can see, if you look up close, they have slightly different thumb grip, like on the joystick. They look slightly different. This one's a little more smoothed out, and this one's a little more jagged and hard, but I honestly like this one better. And when it comes to the D-pad, they're also very similar. They upped the size of the original GameCube D-pad, made it slightly bigger, because let's be honest, the original GameCube controller D-pad was tiny, and this one honestly is perfect for this controller. Still think I like this one a little bit more, but overall it's hard to recommend this one without the GameCube triggers, because I absolutely love them. There's nothing more satisfying than pushing this baby down and then feeling that satisfying click at the end. It's just so comfortable. Like, I love the GameCube controller overall. It's probably still my favorite controller. Like, it's hard to separate nostalgia from new technology and stuff like that. It's hard to compare the two when you already have a history with a controller like this, and the GameCube was the first console I ever owned that was 100% mine and not my brother's, like the N64 or the SNES or NES. So I have a lot of memories with this bad boy, and I love this controller, honestly. My only major gripe is the R and L. I think that they're just a little too big, and what's also different is these are swapped, and this controller R is right here, and this controller R is right here, and everything is just flopped, like when it comes to the buttons on top. But with this one, you can actually change the buttons, which thank you to those down in the comments who told me that in my original video. I did not know you can actually swap these buttons out by holding them down when you plug in the controller, so that's really cool. This one, you don't really need to, because it's just like the Switch Pro controller and the Puppy Dog controller. Like, it's the exact same. But honestly, I recommend this one if you have a big affinity for the GameCube triggers, because like I said, it's my favorite part of the controller. I keep stressing that, and I'm sorry, but I highly recommend this controller just for that. Like, it's really, really comfortable overall, and I'm not having any problems with it. And I love that there's no wire. Like, if you just set it down, it looks really, really sleek compared to this one per se, where it's a giant wire that you can't do anything about. So honestly, I recommend both, but that is my full impressions of the PowerA GameCube controller. You can use it with pretty much any game that lets you use the Switch Pro controller. Obviously not some games like Mario Party or Pokemon, because those require you to use the Joy-Con, which I'm still mad about, but that's not for this video. If you're in the market for a GameCube controller, this one is recommended. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. This has been my PowerA GameCube controller review. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or subscribe, and tell me what other stuff you want me to check out in case you don't have the money to buy one, or maybe you're just curious about something. I can try and reach out to the people who create these things and get them and maybe help you guys out with your purchasing choices. So thanks a lot for watching. I will talk to you guys later.